boldest predictions, according to you guys, that you would bet your own money on this year. First up tonight, it's a bold one. Jacob from Annville, PA. Oregon and Texas both win their conferences in the first year, and they meet for the national title. So Oregon's got the second best odds to win the Big Ten. Texas has got the second best odds, I think, right now, to win the SEC. So that has to happen. Both of them have to win their conference. But then they both have to make the playoff, have the first round bye, not be lined up on the same side of the bracket, because if they play before the final, then that can't happen. And they have to win 2 playoff games apiece in order to face off in the national title game. And even though these are 2 good teams, you're talking about the third and fourth odds to win the whole thing. To have that happen in that order and to be able to predict it right now is pretty bold. So I'm going to call that a 9.25 on the boldness scale. Next up, Ben in Blacksburg, Virginia. The ACC will have a winning record against the SEC this season. Paper pop for Ben there. I'm going to go ahead and tell you this is a 9 for me. So they've got 11 games. So here's how it stacks up. The ACC plays 11 games against the SEC this year. They need to win 6 of them for Ben's prediction to come true. I got a few games that I just don't think you have much of a shot in. Wake is not going to beat Ole Miss. I don't think BC is going to beat Missouri. And I don't think Georgia Tech is going to beat Georgia. So I'm going to give the SEC a 3-0 leg up there. Okay, then there's this next tier where the ACC will be favored. Virginia Tech will be favored against Vandy, and they'll probably beat them. South Carolina against Clemson. Clemson will be heavily favored there. I think Clemson would win that game, but it's a long way away. Florida and FSU. FSU favored, win 2 of those 3, and you've gotten back to within puncher's distance. Then you got the total toss-up games. Miami, Florida, Louisville, Florida. Is that right, Jesse? Louisville plays Florida? What am I looking at here? Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, that's a K. That's not enough. That's tough. That's my handwriting. Cal, Auburn, Tennessee, NC State. So I'm looking at this, and I'm saying, okay, if we win none of the top ones, then we win 2 of those 3 that we're favored in. Oh, can we win all 4 of these? Are we going to have this come down to Clemson versus Georgia is the question. I think this is tough. ACC's got to thread a needle here. And so because I don't think they will, I'm going to call that a 9 on the boldness scale. Next up, it's the boldest prediction of the night. This almost got a 10. As it stands, it's going to get a 9.75. Adam from Hartford, Wisconsin. Other than the G5 champ, there will be no new teams to make the 12-team playoff this year that haven't already made the 4-team playoff. So the 4-team playoff has been around for a decade. And we have had 15 teams make it. Bama, Clemson, Ohio. I'm not going to name them all. You remember who's made it. I hope you remember Cincy made it. Michigan State made it. Washington, TCU. Those are the ones you probably forget about. Oregon made the first one. So those teams have all made it. Oklahoma's made it. So we're saying no new teams are going to be in this thing. Well, the Big 12 alone gives you a massive hurdle you have to clear. Because remember, the conference champ there is going to be in the playoff. So unless it's TCU or Cincinnati, who have the 10th and 12th best odds, respectively, to win the conference, if it's anyone other than TCU or Cincinnati winning that thing, this prediction is toast. If Utah or Kansas State or Oklahoma State or Iowa State, if any of them, I just skipped right over UCF, as soon as we called them the sleeper program in America. If any of them, if anyone other than TCU or Cincy wins the Big 12, this prediction's done. And that's not even to mention Miami. If they made it, prediction done. Tennessee, Penn State, Ole Miss, if they make it, the prediction's done. So you know what, Jesse, you were right. This is a 10. I hate to say it, but this is a 10 on the boldness scale. That's just not going to happen. And you know, it's just not going to happen. Forget it. It's not going to happen. Next up, still bold here as well. This is Millie from Columbus, Georgia. Hat tip to the Bi-City, the Fountain City of Columbus, Georgia. 4 coaches in the SEC are not where they are right now. Now, we had to interpret this. So we're saying by the end of the season, let's just call it the end of January, the end of the 2024 season, 4 SEC head coaches will no longer be where they are. It could mean they got fired. It could mean they went on a mission trip to Africa. Whatever happened, they're not there anymore. I think this counts on 2 of them getting fired. So you're probably counting on like the Napier hot seat not working out, the Pittman hot seat not working out. And even then, you got to have other guys that just leave. Like maybe Brian Kelly says, I'm done with it. Maybe Lane Kiffin takes another job. Maybe Eli Drinkwitz takes another job. I don't know how this is going to happen. But crazier things have happened. So I'm only going to call it a 9 because you never know what's happening behind the scenes. Actually, I do sometimes. That's why I'm only going to call it a 9.